Apollo 69.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video, and I know it's been kind of sketchy the last few weeks with uploading on schedule. I'm sorry I missed Saturday's upload. Just a lot's going on around the house right now. We've got family hanging out all weekend and stuff like that, so it's been kind of a wreck with getting stuff done. So today, well, we're going to be talking about the 5 things I love about my 2003 Sport Trac XLS. If you guys remember, I just did the 5 things I hate video around 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, something like that, right before New Year's, and I never really made the follow-up, which would be the 5 things I love. And the reason for that is I wanted to let that video get all of its views out of the way and stuff like that, and it was a very good video. You guys really seem to like it. It was a remake of my original. So here we are with part 2 of that, which is the 5 things I love. And in case you're new to the channel, this is it, the 2003 Sport Trac XLS. This is my vehicle. I've had it for almost 3 years now, I believe, and it's been an absolute ball, and I've loved every single second of it. But like I said, the 5 things I hate video, every car has its own little issues here and there, like my mom's van. I mean, it has issues as well. But we're going to be going through the 5 things I love, so let's get right into it. So number 5 thing is modding is very easy and very cheap with these vehicles. This vehicle literally has only cost me, I would say, minus the wheels and exhaust, which I didn't pay for. They were both graduation gifts from when I graduated high school. I would say maybe $400 into this truck so far, because I mean, parts are just that cheap. These headlights I purchased off of eBay for around $120 or around $110, including shipping. Awesome headlights, absolutely dorm. The ST badges were $10 on Amazon. Front plate was $25. I mean, the windshield banner was $10. The seat covers were $20, stuff like that. The tail lights were also $120. They were actually the most expensive thing I've bought for it so far, minus the radio, due to the fact that it just was it's a Car ID, which was the site I bought it from. They charged like $20 for shipping or something like that, and it was just expensive. And besides the exhaust and the wheels I do know the cost of, and the exhaust I don't know at all, because I'm just not going to be that guy that asks how much did you pay for this, because that's just rude. But really, this thing is very easy to mod, and it's very cheap. Like I said, I probably put around $400 into it with just those mods alone. And I mean, it was simple. If you guys watched me install all these parts as time went on, you know, headlight install was very simple. Tail lights were very simple. It was just a couple of screws. I mean, a lot of this stuff has been kind of simple so far. It doesn't go until it doesn't really get that hard until you get under the hood and you do stuff like cold air intakes, like I did, and stuff like that in the motor. It becomes kind of a pain to do, because the 4.0 is a very particular motor. It's very intricate in design, and it's a pain in the neck to work on. Everyone who's owned a 4.0 vehicle, whether it be an Explorer or a Mustang, has said that they are impossible to work on. So that's kind of the situation with that. Speaking of my motors, I'm going to be going in very soon to get fixed up, probably mid-February, whenever I get that money back for the budget thing that I'm going to be doing, where I'm going to lower it, all that crap. And it's been fun to get it taken into the shop and get my engine kind of worked on, to get it cleaned up good and running good. So that's kind of that. But anyway, we're going to move on to number 4, which is the community. The community behind Sport Tracs is absolutely massive. There are guys all over the place on every single social media you can think of that really support these trucks. You know, you've got Instagram pages like Sport Trac Nation, Your Sport Trac, stuff like that are huge in the Sport Trac scene on Instagram. You got the owners group on Facebook. You've got websites such as Explorer Forum, which does anything with an Explorer badge, to sporttrac.org, which was formerly mysporttrac.com, that does this specifically for these trucks. I mean, the community's huge on these things. You can go all over the place. And you can get all sorts of advice on modifications, just daily maintenance, you know, just keeping it going, and whatever you really want to look for, you can go to these sites and find. You'll find a lot of really neat information. Like, for example, I didn't know this, but according to the forums, there was a guy who took one of these, actually it was a 2-door Sport, and put a Mustang 2-valve V8 throttle body on it, and it bolted right in, used the same bolt style and everything, and went right in and worked really well. Which is awesome, because that means if I wanted to upgrade my throttle body down the line, I don't have to invest on the BBK, which I've heard has some issues from other 4.0 owners, and it'll save me a lot of money and time later on in the process. But you can really go find all that stuff on the internet, and it's absolutely awesome to have such a huge community. Parts are easy to find for. this vehicle. And really, you can use, like I've said before, this vehicle is very parts bin. There's a lot of parts that go from different vehicles. For example, the tailgate is the same one you would find in an F-150 flare side, which includes the F-150 SVT Lightning. So you could basically use a Lightning tailgate on one of these, and it's an interesting design that Ford went with this thing. The interior is very simple to the classic Explorer or the Gen 2 Explorer, and the Ranger from the time period. A lot of those parts can be parts binned as well, such as the gauge faces and gauge clusters. A lot of people I've seen get the Sport Trac gauge cluster in a Ranger because they like it more. And of course, stuff like the seats, again, parts binned from the Explorer. The front end, parts binned from the Explorer Sport, which is what the vehicle is mostly based on, besides the fact that it's meant to be a crew cab Ranger. There's a lot of things that this vehicle is parts binned on, which makes it very easy to work on, very easy to find parts for. Like I said, the motor shares a lot of characteristics with the 4.62 valve. So there's a lot of parts you can use from that as well. There's not like a huge list, really. It's just stuff like small things like the throttle body and stuff like that you can use on it, which is, it's fine. It gets the job done. But that's really that. Its parts are easy to find. So number 2 will be the styling. Now, this is usually a sore spot for a lot of people in the Sport Trac world. Some people don't like the Gen 1 styling. Some people like the more rugged look the Gen 1 had versus the Gen 2, which is the 06 to 10. I personally like the styling more. I've always said that if I could get the styling of the 01 to 05 with the interior and the engines of the Gen 2, which was the 06 to 10, that I'd be in heaven. I mean, it'd be the ultimate truck if I had the 3-valve accompanied with the interior and all that stuff of the 06 to 10. I mean, it'd be the perfect truck. But for the exterior, I mean, it just looks rugged, and it can be kind of aggressive at times, depending on how you look at it. Like myself, I find this thing actually one of the best looking trucks on the market right now. You can get used, because I mean, just look at it. It's not that ugly. A lot of people hate the looks of this thing. My friend Michael is not very fond of this truck's styling, the way that Ford went with it. But I think in comparison to the other trucks that Ford made around this time period, the Ranger and the standard Explorer, this was the better looking vehicle. And at times, I would say it's even better than some of the modern Fords. I mean, there's not really a lot of the modern Ford trucks that I really liked. And by that I mean including the Explorer and the Expedition. I'm not a big fan of the new Explorer. I like the body on frame, rear-wheel drive models more than the modern ones, which are front wheel and 4 cylinders and all that crap. But that's basically my number 2. Let's move on to number 1. So number 1 is the truck's character. This truck has a lot of character going down the road. It's something really fun. There's a 2-valve in my neighborhood. Excuse me for a second when I was listening to that. This vehicle has a lot of character. It's a blast to drive. I mean, it's got the standard Explorer stigma of being top heavy. That's actually in the safety ratings where it did its worst was rollover. It had a 2-star rollover rating versus the 5-star and everything else. And I can attest to that. I have been in an accident in this vehicle like 2 years ago, and it held up really well. And it was an absolute monster in that accident. It tore up the other car, but this thing just held on tight. In fact, the only damage left over is that my rear bumper, the part of the frame, was actually bent a slight bit. I'll probably get that pulled out, knowing me. But the vehicle has got a really nice character. It's very strong and dependable at times. Granted, the previous owner didn't really take that great a care of it, so it's something that I'm trying to learn around and stuff, just, fixing it as I go and trying to get this thing fixed back up and get it back up and running strong again, like it should be. But the vehicle, like I said, is just a blast to drive. It's got pretty nice torque curves. So, I mean, it's not anything like Michael's car, which is very harsh in the torque curve. It actually will kick you hard when you're accelerating in his car, per se, versus mine. Mine, it just holds out its gears. And my car, like I've said in the past, I'd rather drive a slow car fast and a fast car slow. I can hit $5,000 in this and not be doing anything wrong, illegal or anything. I can't break the speed limit out in first gear necessarily. So, that's really that. I mean, it's just that fun to drive. You get to really rev it out, hear that nice exhaust. Like mine's got a Flowmaster, so I can hear it all day, and it's just the best sound ever. And it's just a blast. And sure, the body roll is kind of annoying, which is why I decided to lower it versus lift it, because lifting a street truck that I don't plan on ever taking off road is blasphemy. There's no need for it. It's not going off road anytime soon. So I mean, having all that body roll it's gonna be caused by lifting the center of gravity is just going to be just a nightmare, and I get motion sick pretty easily, so I definitely don't want all the body roll. But that's basically that. This truck just is a blast to drive, and to be honest, if I ever got another truck, it'd either be a Lightning or another one of these. But that's basically it. That's the 5 things I love about my 2003 Sport Trac. Thank you all again for watching. I know this was kind of a short video because it had to be cut down a lot, but I haven't been feeling great the last couple of days. We had a bad flu outbreak, but I don't think that's what I'm getting at all. Thank you guys again, though. I'll see you guys in the next video.